For 25 years, one rule defined Korean business. Samsung finishes on the top, always. Then one Monday in June, the rule broke. The company that broke it wasn't even supposed to survive. In 2002, its own creditors begged its board to sell. An American rival had billions on the table. But after hours of discussion, the board said, no. Nearly everyone agreed the refusal was a death sentence, but almost everyone was wrong. This is the story of SK Hynix, the company that almost died twice, but currently it sits on the throne as the queen of memory, defining the modern AI era. And here is why it matters to you right now. Every ChatGPT answer you have ever read passed through these companies' chips. The AI boom runs on a component almost nobody else can make, and this company makes most of it. But the headlines miss the real story. The thing that nearly killed SK Hynix twice is the exact thing that made it win. That might sound like a poetry, but it's the story of relentless execution and fight to be the queen of modern AI era. So coming back to the question, why was everyone wrong? The lazy answer can be luck, right product, right decade, an AI lottery ticket. But the question itself is wrong. I'm a semiconductor engineer working on next generation of AI chips. The question that actually explains the story is much stranger. Think of it, why would a company on the life support bet on a memory technology that lost money for nearly a decade? And why couldn't Samsung, the richest chip maker on the earth, bring itself to make the same bet? Hold that question, because the answer isn't in the technology. It's in the two near-death moments of this company. The first one starts, oddly enough, with a rescue. In 1999, after the Asian financial crisis, the Korean government pushed two struggling rivals, Hyundai Electronics and LG Semicon, into a single merger. Their theory was simple: one national champion instead of two weak ones. 2 years later, memory prices collapsed, and the newly merged company, renamed Hynix, was drowning under roughly $7 billion in debt. Which brings us to that boardroom. The creditors looked at the balance sheet and saw a corpse. Micron, the American rival, looked at it and saw a fire sale, $3.4 billion in stock for the entire memory business. The bank said yes. The government wanted it done. So why did the board lock the doors and said no? Because selling the company meant Korea's memory industry would answer to Idaho. Wall Street called it suicide. Micron went to Washington instead, and Washington answered with tariffs on Hynix chips north of 40%. Within a year, the stock had created 135 Korean won, similar to the price of a stick of gum. Korean day traders gave it a nickname, Dongjinju, the coin stock that was near death number 1. You would think that's rock bottom. It's not. Near death number 2 arrived fast. The 2008 financial crisis slammed into a memory glut, and the whole industry started eating itself alive. Germany's Chimonda didn't make it out. Hynix creditors spent years quietly shopping the company around Korea. Everyone said no. Everyone except one buyer nobody saw coming. Che Taiwan, the chairman of SK Group, a telecom and energy conglomerate that had never built a chip in its life. In 2012, he overrode his own advisors and bought a controlling stake for roughly $3 billion. Why would he want a company that had just spent decades dying? Because by then, this company understood something Samsung never had to learn. In 2013, placed a strange bet on a memory technology so unproven, nobody was buying it. For 9 years, that bet was a financial black hole. And then ChatGPT launched. Suddenly, the whole world discovered a problem nobody outside the chip lab had ever cared about. Modern processors had gotten so fast, they started starving, sitting idle, waiting for the data to arrive. A 40,000 AI chip without a right memory isn't a supercomputer, it's a Ferrari stuck in a traffic. So what was the bet that fixed it? Commodity memory worked like wheat farming. Everyone's wheat is identical. The market sets the price, and when the drought hits, the biggest farm survives. In Korea, Samsung has always been the biggest farm. This company had nearly starved twice playing that game, so it stopped playing the same game and built something entirely different. Memory is stacked straight up like a skyscraper, with microscopic elevator shafts drilled through the silicon to move the data at incredible speed. Not a sack of wheat anymore. An engine part built for one machine, useless anywhere else, impossible to replace once it's inside. But here's the twist. So why didn't Samsung just copy it? It didn't miss it because it was blind, it missed it because it was winning. And when you own the commodity game, a money-losing niche isn't worth the fab space. Samsung's memory dominance made the bet irrational. Desperation made it inevitable. The near deaths weren't obstacles, they were the tuition. Last year, this company held 61% of AI memory market. Samsung held 17. This past quarter, its margin on that memory hit 72%. On June 22nd, the coin stock dethroned Samsung, which is exactly why it's now headed for the Nasdaq, raising up to $29 billion, one of the biggest American debut by a foreign company in history. The business Micron once priced at $3.4 billion now anchors a company worth $1.35 trillion. An honest caution before this ending gets too clean. Memory is still a cycle. In 2023, the same company lost on the order of $6 billion in a single year. Today's valuation is betting the shortage lasts past 2027. Samsung disputes the ranking outright. Count its preferred shares and it still sits on the top, and it's racing to qualify its own memory for NVIDIA's next chip. If AI spending ever slows, the company wearing the crown right now is standing on the tallest cliff. Remember the rule that this video opened with? Samsung always finishes on the top. That rule didn't break because this company got lucky. It broke because winning and losing teach you opposite lessons. And for 20 years, only one company in Korea was losing. A board said no in 2022. A chairman said yes in 2012. And a team that had nothing left to lose bet on a product nobody wanted at that time, and now is the biggest memory giant of the modern AI era. Let's see how Samsung plans to take this crown back, but that's a story for another day. For AI insights revolving around chips, new breakthroughs and finance, please subscribe. Thank you.